Exercise C1 requires listening. Download the sound files, and in part 1, you'll listen to a paragraph. There's some words missing from the text, so as you listen to it, insert a caret and a word wherever you hear something on the audio file that's not written down in your book. For example, personal data assistants, called PDAs, are handheld electronic devices designed to help busy working people. Now continue listening to that and inserting words as you hear them in the same places as they are in the audio file. In part B, you'll listen to another audio file which focuses on conversation. So you're going to need to listen to it and circle the best answer to complete each conversation. After you complete these exercises, please check the answer key. Exercise C2, adding information with appositives. Add in a positive phrase from the box to modify each underlined noun or noun phrase. Add commas where necessary. Now remember, an appositive is a noun phrase that gives extra information to describe an existing noun, and it's non-restrictive. So we have some in the box, and they are a machine for transmitting written information by wire, the naturalist who proposed the theory of natural selection, an international organization founded in 1945, an event featuring action sports, the period from the mid-1300s to about 1600, the scientific study of human language. Number 1, the Renaissance followed the Middle Ages. So now we need to say the Renaissance, comma, and we need to insert one of those noun phrases as a positive, and then add another comma, and then finish the sentence at the end with followed the Middle Ages. Which of those phrases is the most appropriate? Probably this one, huh? So we'll say the Renaissance, comma, the period from the mid-1300s to about 1600, comma, followed the Middle Ages. Finish these sentences and check your answers with the answer key. In exercise B, you can practice writing about one of your favorite books, one of your favorite actors, one of your favorite foods, and so on. If you decide to choose foods, you might say noodles with tamarind sauce, comma, a dish from Thailand, comma, is made with coconut milk. So you can see a dish from Thailand is an appositive. It's a noun phrase that modifies the word sauce. So it's used as an adjective. It's an adjective phrase, a dish from Thailand, that modifies the word sauce. And remember, as a non-restrictive adjective phrase, it requires commas around it. In exercise C3, using adjective phrases, you're going to read an excerpt about skyscrapers. Pay attention to the underlined relative clauses. Which ones can be reduced? Reduce the clauses wherever possible. Well, I'll help you with the first one. Anyone who looks at that symbol of the modern age, which is the skyscraper, can easily tell that it wasn't the idea of a single person. Can we look at the anyone who looks at and change it to something that's shorter? Yes, we can say anyone looking at that symbol of the modern age. Now, can we do anything with which is the skyscraper? Yes, because it starts with which and then the be verb is. We can change it to anyone looking at that symbol of the modern age, the skyscraper, can easily tell that it wasn't the idea of a single person. So now the relative clause has become an adjective phrase. That means it modifies the modern age. It's a phrase that acts as an adjective to modify the noun phrase, the modern age. Go ahead and finish the rest of this paragraph, and then you'll see more paragraphs. Let me help you with the first item in the second paragraph. The engineering that was required to build skyscrapers was in place by the middle of the 1880s when the home insurance building in Chicago, which was the world's first skyscraper, was built. We can change the first one like this. The engineering required to build skyscrapers. Here, we've changed the relative adjective clause into a relative adjective phrase, and it's passive, required to build skyscrapers, and that modifies the engineering. The engineering required to build skyscrapers was in place by the middle of the 1880s when the home insurance building in Chicago, the first skyscraper, the world's first skyscraper, was built. So now this relative adjective clause turns into an adjective phrase, a noun phrase, that modifies the home insurance building in Chicago. Now complete the rest of these and then check the answer key. Exercise C4, combining sentences. In part A, combine each set of sentences and use adjective phrases. Add commas where necessary. In other words, when they are non-essential, non-restrictive. When they are appositives, you need to add commas. For example, in number 1, the construction company plans to build townhouses. It is purchasing the property. We could write, the construction company purchasing the property plans to build townhouses. Or, the construction company planning to build townhouses is purchasing the property. So it depends on whether we want to emphasize building the townhouses or purchasing the property. So which one do we put in the main clause? We put in the main clause the action that is the main idea. For number 2, many runners collapsed before reaching the finish line. They were exhausted from their efforts. We could write, many runners, comma, exhausted from their efforts, comma, collapsed before they reached the finish line. Now, you try combining the remaining pairs of sentences and then check the answer key. Exercise C5, thinking about meaning and use. Read each sentence and the statements that follow it, and choose the statement that best explains the meaning of the sentence. I'll do one for you. My brother who lives in Philadelphia is an attorney. If you read this sentence, you'll know A, I have one brother, or B, I have more than one brother. So ask yourself, is it a restrictive or non-restrictive clause? Without any commas, the way it's written, without any commas, it's a restrictive relative clause. If it's a restrictive relative clause, that means I have more than one brother, and I'm just telling you which brother I'm talking about. My brother who lives in Philadelphia is an attorney, but perhaps my brother who lives in San Francisco is an engineer. Let's look at number 2. Stan is the kind of guy people like to have at a party. Stan's the kind of guy people like to have at a party. Does that mean People like to invite Stan to their parties? Or does it mean Stan likes to invite a lot of people to his parties? Stan is the kind of guy people like to have. So people like to have that kind of guy. They like to invite that kind of guy. People like to invite Stan to their parties. Got it? Not so hard, huh? All right. Complete the rest of C5 and then check your answers with the answer key. In C6, you have an opportunity to practice speaking. You can practice speaking to a friend, or if you prefer, you can speak to yourself. Here are some sentence ideas that you can say true or false to, and this is a topic about dating. Notice that many of the sentences have relative clauses. I'm the kind of person who likes to be in charge. On the first date, I always look for a place where the prices are affordable. I'm someone that feels comfortable meeting other people, new people. I'm a good listener. This one doesn't have any relative clause. I think it's difficult to find time to meet new people. No relative clause here. I can always find something to talk about on a date. No relative clause here. I don't think people on dates behave like themselves. I've never been on a date that I didn't enjoy. This one has a relative clause. So if you'd like to do this true or false survey, you can do that and then you can write a short paragraph about yourself. Here's an example. I'm definitely the kind of guy who likes to be in charge. I don't like surprises. That probably isn't a good quality for a person who is trying to date and meet new people. So that's the start of a paragraph. If you'd like, try that.